Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Far Cry 5. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today we're getting lost on Mars. Let's get to it. So Lost on Mars is the second DLC for Far Cry 5 after the Vietnam DLC. Now this one does take place on Mars. Now in addition to the new DLC map and story, you also have the assets from Lost on Mars in the arcade editor. So you're going to have some Mars themed maps on there. Additionally, a few of the alien weapons made its way across to the free roam on the main campaign. So you can pick those up and try out the shotgun. The shotgun is pretty fun. When they first announced Lost on Mars, I assumed that you would take your character and go to Mars, and you would probably meet your buddy Larry there. Much to my surprise, you're playing as Nick Rye, and your buddy in arms is none other than Hurk. Now, there is some references to Larry while you're playing, but he isn't specifically in it. So again, with this DLC, you have a small map. It's kind of like a crater on Mars somewhere. You have to liberate towers, you have to regain body parts, and you have to regain these energy cores to power up these towers and stations. And of course, you have to put Hurk back together again. And then you have to get out. One of the first things you'll notice when you're playing is that Mars has a lower gravity, but you still take fall damage until you get your gravity belt. And once you get that, then you can get to a lot higher and a lot farther places. One of the things you'll notice is that you'll want to stay off the sand because the bugs will burrow in the sand and they will come for you. So even if there's a dead body on the sand that you want to loot, you might want to just pass on it, because as soon as you start walking on the sand, that'll attract another bug. Now, I believe this DLC is a little bit longer than the Vietnam DLC. It will take a little bit longer to get through if you're trying to kind of experience the entire thing. If you're trying to run through it, I think it will be close to the Vietnam one, maybe a little bit longer. And again, playing this DLC compared to the other DLC, it's about the same. The Vietnam DLC, if you wanted to try to get all the trophies, you'd have to play at least 3 times. This one, you're going to play once or maybe twice, and then I think that's probably going to be it. If you want to go back through and play with the Morphinator gun, that one's pretty fun, so maybe go back in and get to that point where you get the Morphinator and then just play around with that whenever you're feeling like it. Otherwise, there's not a lot of incentive for players to go back through and play additional times. For those that have the Season Pass, this is part of the Season Pass. For those that do not, this is $9.99 US. In terms of fun, I would say this is along the lines of the main campaign, where you can have some fun along the way, and having Hurk as a companion is pretty cool. Some of the things that he says are really pretty neat, and I think you'll enjoy the conversations that are had during playing the DLC. Overall, I think you're going to play for a while, and you're either going to try to play through it all at once and you're just going to run through it, or you're going to play through it and try and experience the whole thing, and you're going to pause, save it, quit, come back later sometime, and then pick it up and play it again. So kind of like the main campaign where you play for a while and then stop and then come back to it. I think this one is similar to that, where you can play for a while, you might play for half an hour, you might play for an hour, save your progress, quit, go do something else, come back later or come back a few days later and pick it back up. Because most of the things are marked on the map, it is easy to come back and just pick it up right where you left off. There are certain items that will only be revealed once you are in range of the item. So all the towers are marked. You can see them. You can easily see them on the map without the marker on them. And you can go to them, but you'll need an energy core in order to power them, so you have to find energy cores along the way. There are plenty of energy cores. They'll show up once you get within proximity of them. In addition, Clutch Nixon makes a comeback on Mars using the Space Wing, so basically the wingsuit for Mars. So if you enjoyed some of the wingsuit Clutch Nixon missions, then definitely check it out. There's only a couple of them. It's not quite the same as the main campaign. I've run into 2 so far, and there may be more. So your objective is to stop the bugs. In order to stop the bugs, you're going to need some weapons. And as you liberate different areas or power up different areas, you will get access to more items and more guns. And in order to 3D print these items and guns, you need some alien slime. There's containers that have them along the way, and of course any aliens that you kill you can loot, and you get some for doing some missions. There are some geysers in there just to kind of mix it up, which will take you into kind of an alternate reality Earth where you can fight it out with virtual Peggies or bugs and in an Earth-like setting, and then you go back. So I think that's a nice departure from sand and rock everywhere. So liberate the areas, find Hurk's body parts, and get out. And of course, the last part is going to be the challenge. Everything is going to kind of come to a head, and you're going to need to buckle under. Now, I think challenge-wise that Lost on Mars is a little bit more difficult than the Vietnam, because the bugs are all heavily armored, and there are some heavy armor bugs in addition to the regular bugs. They make them all somewhat bullet sponges. Now, they all do have a little red spot on them that you can aim for, which is on the top of them. Now, with the gravity belt, it does make it a little bit easier, but I think it'll be a little bit difficult with multiple bugs firing at you. Now, there's also flying bugs and bugs that will, smaller bugs that will explode when in proximity. And then, of course, the queen bugs, which are kind of the pinnacle, the boss bugs of the DLC. So if you have the Season Pass, download it and try it out. If you don't have the Season Pass, if you enjoyed the campaign, if you enjoyed playing the Vietnam, maybe check it out. That's certainly up to you. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.